Good afternoon and welcome to Ravens Second Take. My name's Adam Donner. Today we'll be taking a look at two big series-tying wins yesterday in the NBA playoffs. The Pacers with a huge statement win at home over the Knicks to tie it at 2 apiece. And then a little bit later that night, the Nuggets and Timberwolves. The Nuggets take their second straight to tie that one at 2 apiece. Both series tied 2 each. 2 games coming up tonight. And then the Hawks, despite 3% odds to take the number 1 overall pick in the draft, take it anyway. All that and more coming up on Ravens Second Take. Okay, so the first thing today is that big Pacers-Knicks win. Guys, I think we really need to revisit this Knicks Infinity Stones comment because the Knicks, obviously they're without Anunoby, but a huge loss on the road to the Pacers, and now this one is tied headed into Game 5 tomorrow. Yeah.
They lost by 32. I'm going to be the first to say I take back my comment. I don't think the Knicks have the Infinity Stones here.
Oh, yeah? Who also lost by a big margin in the first round? Pacers to the Bucks. Who won that series? Pacers in 6. What have I been saying this whole time? Knicks in 6. Obviously, you can't predict injuries, and those play large, very large factors in these playoffs. But I'm still very confident in the Knicks' ability to bounce back from this game as they head back into the Garden tomorrow and are looking fierce and ready to take back another win.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see the Knicks losing 3 straight games to a team like the Pacers. I mean, gotta give the Pacers their credit. I think people forget the talent they have on that roster. Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Haliburton, T.J. McConnell. Like, they got a lot of players. They got a lot of score makers because if you look at the box score, it's bounced all over there. Obi Toppin gets in there too, but there's a lot of concerns on the Knicks side. I mean, Josh Hart, 24 minutes, 2 points. Yeah, and he's supposed to be your number 2 offensive threat.
I mean, I think, let's talk about the Infinity Stones comment. You know, obviously, that gauntlet isn't at its full potential when it's missing a gym. The Knicks, the last 2 games, have been missing gyms. I think when you have this team fully healthy, it's a very tough team to beat. One that contends in the Eastern Conference Finals. But when you're missing one of those big pieces in OG Anunoby, and then obviously Jalen Brunson a little limited in Game 3, and I think he re-injured, was it an ankle issue that he had? Just
leave. So.
Jalen Brunson had a knee issue.
Okay.
OG has a hamstring strain.
Okay.
But to stop this comment, I don't think we should consider the Knicks a infinity whatever team when they have Isaiah Hartenstein starting as center.
Jackson, you want to take this one? Or
Jackson, yeah. You're the Infinity Stone
Actually,
guy.
before we get to that, I just want to make a little comment. So, about OG not being there, and, obviously he's a key player on their team, but I don't think that was a huge part to play in their loss. I think even if he was there, you have their players going out not showing up, all right? You have Josh Hart going for 2 points, Isaiah Hartenstein going for 4, Dante going for 7. Like, these are small numbers for these guys to be putting up. So OG, he comes, he puts up, his 20 points, probably around there. They still lose by 12. I mean, in this game, it was not just about them having hurt players. It was that they did not show up at all.
Yeah.
And I think we're forgetting that what city's the Knicks from? New York. New York teams cannot win in the playoffs. We see it with the Rangers, the Yankees. The Knicks will always be the Knicks, and the Mets will always be the Mets.
Right now,
but I'm saying the city of New York, they can't win in the playoffs, so the Knicks will always be the Knicks.
So, obviously, big loss, 32 points. And we aforementioned the fact that, they didn't go out and score. Even if they did have all their people back, they're not going to score. However, you think basketball is a game of streaks. If you get on the right side of the tide, a game could go either way, regardless of who's on the court.
Yeah, it's totally fair.
That's definitely a big factor in this game, which is why in today's NBA, I don't really look as big blowout wins
It's like
as
statement,
you
like,
would
series ending.
as you would in the 90s or the 2000s.
Yeah.
Just because any lead is never insurmountable in this NBA unless you're the Thunder and lose by 72.
I mean, Jalen Brunson was playing at and to be fair, for what we thought and what ended up being the case, it was an unsustainable level of play. This dude was going off for 40 plus nearly every game, and yeah, you were right. Like, he's not going to put up 40 every time he steps onto that court. You can't expect anyone to in this league. You're going to have off nights. But it's how they bounce back from this that'll determine the series. Because I think despite them having a couple rough nights, I don't think this team is for sure out of it. I think even though Anunoby's hurt, they've still got solid players on this team to get it done, and they're a likely Eastern Conference contender.
Well, yeah, you're talking about, well, his play is inconsistent. You can't rely on him to go out and score 40. But if you watch the game, you saw he still got his open shots. It's just the tale of what kind of day he's having. Obviously, anyone can get their open shots. It's just about if you're knocking them down at the end of the day.
And, you know, you look at the Pacers side, I think the Knicks, like, they just didn't show up. But I think you look at the Pacers, and they just they went out and they played their game. You know, they had 6 players in double digits. T.J. McConnell and Isaiah Jackson, both of those guys finally showed up. What I said this last episode, or maybe the episode before, T.J. McConnell, when he starts playing, that's going to be very good for the Pacers. So when he starts showing up, he can be a good backup guard and really take the pressure off of Halliburton.
But you know who didn't show up? Anthony Edwards' teammates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have Ant dropping
44
points.
Yeah, he's averaging 33 in this series.
And the other leading scorer was Mike Conley at 15. So they dropped that game to the Denver Nuggets.
The away team has won all 4 games so far.
Yeah. Credit to the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I feel like people were forgetting early in this series that the Denver Nuggets are still the Denver Nuggets.
They're the Denver Nuggets.
They have 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic, great role player in Christian Braun.
Great playoff role player in Christian. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's debatable, but yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray with probably a very iconic postseason moment, hitting that buzzer beater from the half court, and then staring down the commentators that was pretty cold. That was pretty sick. So people are forgetting that the Nuggets basically have the exact same roster they had last year.
You know, and one guy that's been a little bit overlooked because he hasn't been playing super well, Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
27 points. Yeah. What do we think about that? Just, you know, he hasn't been playing super well. Even he played pretty good at the beginning of the regular season. As he kind of moved along, it wasn't looking great for him. Beginning of the playoffs is decent, but I mean, this is a really, really good game for him.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Gordon can do more than just dunk.
Yeah, I still think he got snubbed. But yeah, he can do more than dunk. 27 last night in 41 minutes and a heck of a game.
I think you were referencing the dunk contest.
Yes. Against
2016, yeah.
Definitely snubbed. Do we? Okay. Who really won that dunk contest? Just real brief, because this is like
Aaron Gordon.
It was Aaron Gordon.
Okay, thank you. Okay, glad we all agree on that one.
Okay. With Aaron Gordon going out.
Real quick, I think any reasonable person would agree that Aaron Gordon.
It's Aaron Gordon. It's Aaron Gordon.
I think if you don't agree with that, man, you're just crazy.
Yeah, you're just.
No freaking way. It was Derek Jones Jr. from UNLV and on the Mavericks. You shut your mouth. You know he was better. Joseph.
And that was our lovely teacher, Mr. Cooper.
With an incorrect take. I don't know if he heard that one.
Very incorrect.
Yeah, he's very wrong. It was not Derek Jones Jr. Just because he went to UNLV, big guy. It was Aaron Gordon.
It was, yeah.
And if it wasn't Aaron Gordon,
yes, to get back on track.
Yeah, back on track. My bad, guys. My bad.
There we go.
Oh, Aaron Gordon really helped pick up the slack for this Nuggets team, scoring 27 in a night where MPJ, Jamal Murray, and KCP all combined for under 30 points.
Well, I mean, Jamal Murray got his 19. I don't know if it's fair to put him with the rest.
I mean, they had 5 guys in double-digit points. Like, they had a lot of production from all around. Christian Braun with 11, Justin Holiday with 10. They had solid production all night and it was more well-rounded. But you didn't see the typical, of course, the MPJ, the Jamal Murray. You didn't see the typical numbers that you would be used to be seeing from the big three on this Nuggets team.
The thing that I worry most about this Timberwolves team now is we saw them going into this game, and the Nuggets were headed back home, and they were having their way with the Nuggets. But Gobert comes back, their best defender, and the Nuggets take
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year.
For some stupid reason.
And the Nuggets come back and take what was theirs, 2-2. And I'm starting to look at this Jokic-Gobert matchup, and I'm wondering, where's Naz Reid? Why is he not guarding him? And I'm starting to wonder, like, do they have what it takes to stop this Nuggets offense now that they're rolling?
Yeah. That's a totally fair thing. And obviously you had a couple off nights from the Timberwolves at home, which has been unlike them, obviously, through this postseason.
Do you think this is setting, a precedent for how the rest of the series is going to play out?
I don't.
The away team's absolutely dominating. I mean, that's something that we haven't seen in the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
This is unique to this series.
I mean, we saw the Cavs Magic, and every single game was a home team win. I don't think it sets a precedent, though. I like the Timberwolves to come because this Timberwolves team we talk about it with the Knicks and the Pacers. Every team is going to have their off nights. It's just a matter of, managing, when those off nights are going to be almost. Because I think the Timberwolves still have what it takes to get past this Denver team and make it to the conference finals. And I really like this west side of the bracket. I think whoever wins the West is going to win the finals. But you can't discredit the Thunder and Mavericks because this is still a very competitive series too. We got a game tonight, and the Mavericks now up 2-1.
Let me
Joe
talk
wants
about
to
the
talk about
Mavericks. Everybody doubted them. Look who's up 2-1. That's all I'm going to say.
We're
Luka,
3 games in.
Kyrie, PJ Washington, absolutely hooping.
I mean,
oh man,
I don't want to say that I called it, but I did call it actually.
And you know who's not hooping for the Mavericks though? Derrick Jones Jr. 36 minutes, 3 points. Derrick Jones Jr. Not
yeah,
hooping.
stick to dunking. I mean, you're kind of average at that too.
And even then,
it's okay.
Still can't win a dunk contest. I mean,
yeah.
But PJ Washington, one could argue the real playoff P, putting up 27, 2, and 6, and really kind of being a very just a great role player for this series, or just this whole playoff run for this Mavericks team. Outscoring Kyrie and Luka Doncic last night in that game, 27 and 22 for both Kyrie and Luka.
Mm-hmm. And they're kind of turning into like their big three, Kyrie, Luka, and then PJ in this playoffs. No one expected that. It's
not at all.
Luka and Kyrie have always been, they've kind of become the best duo in the NBA. But now you got PJ coming out, and they're becoming a big
putting
three.
up more than both Kyrie and Luka.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Kyrie and Luka both got their.
Well, yeah,
22.
they both with 22.
I think a question mark for the Oklahoma City Thunder offense is Chet. I'm scoring 13. Mavericks have done a good job, really taking down Chet and really not allowing him to get super hot on offense.
I mean, they've limited nearly everybody on this Thunder team except for Shea.
Mr. Consistent.
And Shea is obviously one of the most talented players in this league. One of the MVP candidates. It's hard to stop a guy like Shea. But the way that they were able to limit the rest of this Thunder team and slow them down, hold them off, is like that may be the key to winning a series if you're the Mavericks. Because obviously Shea's going to go out, Mr. Consistent, and get his points. But when you slow down guys like Chet, and when you do that, you really are setting yourself up for success. And I like the way that the Mavericks are doing that, because if the Mavericks continue to do that, I don't see a way that they lose this series.
The real big matchup here is the front court between the Thunder and the Mavericks. The Mavericks have a great front court there. Defense-oriented players that sort of bottle up whoever they really want to guard. And
why is that on the screen?
Yeah, what are we watching?
Derrick Jones Jr.
Are we watching Derrick? Okay.
Right.
So
Thanks,
this
Mr.
isn't,
Cooper.
So this isn't even the dunk
Can we put
contest.
on? Can we put on Aaron Gordon?
Do we have any
highlights?
Aaron
I mean,
Gordon
those would be a
clips
little
by chance?
better.
That is quite impressive, I will say.
I will say, but
I mean, the guy's a freak athlete. Like, he's in the NBA
I'm
for
not.
a reason.
I'm not
but
denying that he's not a good player. Aaron Gordon got snubbed, is all I'm saying.
Okay, but
Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, both better dunkers.
In that that night they were. But this, like, okay.
I will say Aaron Gordon's a better dunker in general.
All right. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, Derek Lively.
Can we get Mr. Cooper on a mic in here? Is that something we can do?
Guys,
Maybe
guys,
get
guys.
another take.
Joe,
This is
I think we should let Mr. Decken talk for a little bit.
So the Mavs front
sorry, I didn't
court.
mean to interrupt.
You're good. Mavs front court. The Thunder aren't a very. They don't like to shoot the three as much as a modern team would.
Still on the screen.
Obviously, Shai will get his 2 to 3 attempts a game, but aside from that, they're good shooters. I would say Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey, Isaiah Joe. Once you rid of their opportunities around the arc with Tim Hardaway and all their other perimeter defenders, they have to rely on guys like Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams to go up against this intimidating Mavs front court, which is very underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, you got just two superb rookies in Chet and Derek Lively, and just watching them battle. It's just, I'm gonna say this series has been one of the most entertaining series for me.
I think it'll be
Obviously, because I'm a Mavs fan, but also just this game in particular was so close, and the defense and the effort was amazing. It's like playoffs mode. Some people say it's not a thing. It's definitely a thing because they just kick it into another gear when it comes to the playoffs because the teams really want it. And in the regular season, sometimes, you know, it looks like the teams, they don't really care. They're more worried about not getting injured, things like that. But in certain playoff games, especially in a really competitive series, these teams just want it, and then just the dog comes out in them.
Mm-hmm. I've really liked watching these conference semifinals because we haven't had a non-competitive series. You've got 2 more games tonight, Thunder Mavs. The one we haven't talked about yet is the Celtics Cavs, and Boston leading 2-1 with a game tonight in Cleveland. Like both these games tonight,
and then they're going to finish it out 4-1.
But I'm not disagreeing, but I like how these semifinals are going because you got 2 series tied at 2-2, 2 at 2-1. Like you've got opportunities for all 4 series tied when we wake up tomorrow.
That would be nuts.
That would be nuts. We're watching a very competitive conference semifinals, but obviously the one we haven't talked about yet is the Celtics Cavs. The Celtics are obviously jumped out to a huge win in Game 1. The Cavs then take Game 2 at the Garden, and then Boston storms into Cleveland and runs right through the Cavs.
Right through is an overstatement. 13 points is not a very sizable lead, and as we've referred to.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily consider this a.
Not a blowout.
Not a blowout. Not a blowout.
I
agree with
wouldn't
you
say they ran through them. I mean, Cavs still had a respectable game.
there. Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell is still a very, very good threat. That the
We're not
Celtics.
counting
You
this
can't
Cavs
sleep on
team out.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
No,
you can't sleep at the Cavs. I mean, Karis LeVert, an absolute all-star, a superstar in this league, and I'm a very big believer of Karis LeVert.
Going off the rails a little bit here.
I'm just waiting for
so-
the Dean Wade comeback part 2.
You'll be waiting a while.
Yeah, I probably will.
But yeah, Karis LeVert will be an X factor in this series for the Cavaliers. If Karis LeVert can play up to his potential, I think the Cavs could take this series from the Celtics.
The biggest focal point that we still have yet to see from the Cavs is Jared Allen with his rib injury. He's listed as questionable, and we still have yet to see a true interior presence for this Cavs team go up against Al Horford and Jason Tatum.
Jared Allen too. He's a great player as well. One of a top 5 center in the league, I would say.
I think when they get Jared Allen back, if they're able to get him in time, hopefully. You said he was questionable?
Questionable for
tonight. I think once you bring a guy like him back, I think this Cavs team becomes obviously a lot more competitive. and I think this Cavs team has a chance to make not a deep playoff run, but a deep run in this series. Like, I think they've got chances to make this a competitive series and not. I mean, we talked about it before the Cavs had even beaten the Magic. We said this: whoever wins that series, that Cavs Magic series, is going to be a stiff competitor, and we've seen that so far from the Cavs. Game 4 tonight, it's a big one, and I think one of the biggest factor is Jared Allen coming back.
I'm gonna say, if the Cavs don't win tonight, the rest of the series.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
This is a must-win tonight for the Cavs.
You think it's wraps, huh?
I think if they don't win tonight, it's wraps.
Because then you go back to Boston, and you have
You
at
think that
least
too?
you have 2 games in Boston then at that point, and only 1 game that you need to win.
And the Celtics have been outstanding at home
Yeah.
for the most part.
Besides
The Garden.
Yeah.
And other big NBA news, though, the Hawks taking the number 1 overall
lottery.
pick, winning the lottery despite 3% odds. This was a play-in tournament team that somehow managed to win the lottery pick,
Somehow stole it.
somehow managed to get it. But you know, we got to talk. We got to talk thoughts on the lottery and thoughts on this draft class, because is this really the? I mean, obviously you can't choose when you win a lottery pick.
Yeah.
But this is, if this is the year that you want a lottery, like if there's a year that you want the lottery pick, it's not this year.
It's not this year.
Yeah,
This draft class is just underwhelming.
Well, number 1 pick is it's going to be Alex Sarr from France.
Yeah.
But this isn't a necessarily Victor Wembanyama
No.
type
Not-
prospect.
No,
and
nowhere near.
So I think that is, I wouldn't say he's a scrub, but
This will definitely go down as one of the lower grade drafts in history.
and like looking at, sorry to cut you off, but looking at Alex Sarr's NBA comparison right now, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jonathan Isaac.
yeah, it's a weak class for
So
sure.
yeah,
Obviously, we can't predict the future. We don't know what will happen. But from the looks and the overview of just this draft class, I don't see where the Hawks can improve their situation from here unless they go Bronny. So,
Yeah,
Hey,
maybe get LeBron.
yeah, I
Maybe
mean-
get LeBron out of it.
who knows? Maybe we could get Rob Dillingham up there with Trey Young.
You know, but
Shifty
they
Rob
have
and Trae
DeJounte
Young.
Murray. I don't know. I don't know about
I don't-
Atlanta getting another guard.
I don't like a third guard combo. That
Yeah,
would
I'm
be
gonna
like,
say that.
I feel like a player in this draft class I like is Donovan Clingan from UConn.
yeah.
I thought he was a great player out of
He was
Dan
great
Hurley's
in the
team at
Final
UConn.
Four.
Yeah, I mean he played.
I mean, everyone on the
NBA
UConn team
talent
was.
though.
I
I don't know.
I think so. I mean,
I think
you got Jared McCain from Duke. Kind of like a Caleb Williams-esque player. Dalton Neck from Tennessee. I've always liked him. I mean, Tennessee was kind of choked always in March Madness.
Yeah,
but-
not a March team.
And you just kind of go down the list of everyone. It's just like Zach Edey. He's not going to last.
Zach
Not-
Edey, like, okay,
He's
you're
a college
great.
player.
You're great.
He's
He's
a
a
college
college player.
Yeah.
He's
Kyle
not-
Filipowski. Nah.
No,
We keep on scrolling. Keep on
You know,
scrolling.
there's just not a whole lot
Mark
of
Sears.
names.
Mark Sears. Nah.
There's
Kevin McCullough.
Drew, you're a KU fan, but don't let that blind you from the truth.
When we were going into this portion of the debate, we had talked about what we would like to see change in the lottery. And I'm looking at this pool of teams that's picking. Obviously, OKC should be in there because they have lots of picks from the Shy trade. But you see teams like the Kings, the Jazz, the Hawks, and let's just
Portland.
throw another one in there. Yeah, Trailblazers. There are lots of teams that were on the brink of playoff contention.
Trailblazers were on the brink of playoff contention.
I meant the Houston Rockets.
Oh,
They were on
Okay,
the
yeah.
brink of playoff contention,
They're
and
picking so high. Like,
they are stealing picks from historically bad teams like the Pistons and the Wizards.
Mhm.
And I'm starting to wonder, why do we need 14 picks to help decipher who goes in the lottery? We're not. When you look at a league, you don't look at, oh, who's the 14th worst team in the league right now? No, you go and you look at, okay, who are the worst 5 teams? I think
Yeah.
at least if they want to fix this lottery and prevent this kind of blasphemy to stop happening, they need to at least refine the pool down to 8.
Yeah, they 100% do need to refine the pool, but I mean, one of these problems that comes with it is the likelihood that teams just tank, because we saw that obviously with like Golden State a couple years ago. You see that too often in the NBA.
Tank.
Yeah,
Back in-
whoa,
2021?
The Warriors did not tank. all
In
right?
2021,
Steph Curry broke his left wrist, and
they were like,
not,
you know what, we're going to call
Well,
it
what
quits
else
at
are they
this
supposed
point.
to do?
What? Can you please explain to me what they are supposed to do in that situation?
Try.
No Clay, no Steph, no Draymond.
Getting back to the lottery.
I think there do need to be changes. I mean, I like what you said about refining that pool, narrowing it down, because
Yeah.
14 is too many.
That's way
If it's
too many.
every team that doesn't make the playoffs, some of these teams are teams that you put in a play-in tournament, they have a chance to make a run into the tournament. Obviously, they're not going to make deep finals runs, but these are teams that still would fight for a spot in that 16-team bracket. But 14 is just too many, and that's the problem with this lottery. And that's why, like, Hawks, obviously, this isn't the draft class that would bring up the debate, but when you, let's say you take it to last year with a guy like Wembanyama and a huge number 1 overall, and you have something like that happen, like the way this lottery result is, if you have something like that happen with a class like last year, that's when the conversation starts to come up like, hey, this maybe needs to be changed, because we can't have a class like, we can't have the teams that were play-in teams getting a guy like Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. I mean, that's just the problem with the lottery.
Here's the thing, though. The lottery, it's a lottery. Like, in the percentages of your percent chance to get the number 1 pick, it's favored to those worst teams. I mean, the system, in theory, it's supposed to, like,
It's supposed to be
favor
good.
the worst teams, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's a lottery, right?
Yeah.
Anything can happen. It's left up to chance.
And you
So
know, the last thing I want to add is Atlanta number 1 overall pick. Do they go quarterback here?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Anything's on the board for Atlanta. We've
Anything's
learned that
on
in
the
past.
board for Atlanta.
yeah.
But what were you saying?
I was just going to point something out. So just an interesting opportunity that I see that might occur, San Antonio with the number 4 pick getting Rob Dillingham and having him paired with Victor Wembanyama. Do we see a great duo maybe forming down in Texas?
A young.
You mean Big 3? You got Jeremy Sohan on.
Yeah,
there.
you do got Jeremy Sohan
like-
on there. That's true, but just I think having 2 really, if Rob Dillingham can make it in the NBA, having 2 all-star caliber young players working together, and then hopefully continuing with the franchise and staying with it, then like I think them 2 together could be great.
Yeah.
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 And that would make the Spurs a definite contender. And speaking of contenders, real quick, we got to talk about just real quick picks for tonight's games, which is Thunder Mavs, Celtics Cavs. So Celtics Cavs at 7 Eastern. What do we think here? I think it depends on Jared Allen. But gosh, this is a hard one to pick. For me, it's a toss-up, but I like the Celtics more than I like the Cavs.
Yeah, I'll agree.
It's at Celtics, right?
Is that the
no,
Garden?
it's in Cleveland.
It's in Cleveland.
We're in
Oh,
Cleveland
okay.
tonight.
I'll go with the Celtics. I don't see them dropping 2 in a row.
I'll go with the Celtics as well.
I'm gonna go Celtics.
I'll go with the Celtics, even though I don't like it.
I think it's all dependent on Jared Allen, and I just even if he comes back.
Yep.
I just think the Celtics, like Drew said, they're not going to lose 2 in a row. I mean, this is a team that's dominated
Celtics
the
lose
regular
2 in a row.
season.
They've won the most previous games.
Well,
the Celtics.
they're not going to lose 3 in a row. That's what I meant. Or which games did they win?
They won.
Sorry,
game,
I'm
okay.
All right. Anyways.
Okay, no,
anyways.
they won
anyways.
game 1 and 3.
Anyways.
Okay.
Anyways.
Thunder Mavs also tonight, 9:30 Eastern.
man.
This one in Dallas.
Love the Thunder here.
You know,
I
I'll
do
kick it
too.
off in the
I do
Mavs.
too.
Mavs.
Yeah, well,
Easy.
Mavs fan. Drew.
I'll go with the Thunder.
Yeah.
Love the Thunder here.
Love
The Mavs,
Thunder.
they figured it out against the Thunder. I'm going to tell you, you got
I like the
absolutely. Well, look, no matter how good the Thunder coaches,
You know,
the Mavs,
you know,
the Mavs are
actually,
That's a really
actually,
interesting take.
I'm changing my prediction
Oh,
to the
boy.
Mavericks with a big game out of Dante Exum.
Dante.
You know, one thing about Dante Exum, the Aussie, He has a lot of potential that he still has not unlocked.
In the playoffs.
It's just going to take one big game.
He did well in the regular season. I mean, he was
Dante Exum, he was there. He had that draft potential. It never happened. But trust me, Dante Exum's going to have a big game.
I like the Thunder to bounce back, make it a 2-2 series. It would be awesome if we had, at the start of tomorrow, 4 tied series, but I don't think that's the way it's going to be. I think Celtics win, Thunder win. But that'll do it for us here on Ravens Second Take. This has been Adam Donner, Drew Sheets, Jackson Deckant, and Joe, get off your phone. Like, just be off your phone.
Anyway, wrap it up.
And Joe.
Okay.
School's ended, boys. I got to go.
All right. That'll do it for us here tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you Wednesday.
Adios.
With another explosive finish. Clock. Richardson gifted with an open 3. Missed it. Derek Jones Jr. I told you he'd electrify you, make you jump out of your seat. Another offensive rebound. 33 left in the fourth quarter. Ellington working hard to get free. Fires. Misses. Jones jams back the rebound. Derek Jones. And John Collins grabs the rebound but throws it back into Derek Jones. Looking long for Wade. Oh, back to Jones. What a play.
And here's the pitch ahead in the vision by Dwayne Wade. Jones Jr. trailing behind. And a perfectly timed play at the pace. And they're going to need him to play here in this front court. They're limited. And only Udonis Haslem left on the bench.
Oh, gorgeous left-handed spike slam dunk for Derek Jones Jr. 17-6 Thunder lead with 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. The cutting Jones! Jim and Jones Jr. does it again.
It's a really nice drive action. Gorn finding the cutting Jones. No one picks him up, and it's airplane mode.
Waiters for 3. Derek Jones on the follow. Does it a second time around. Derek Jones Jr. with 7 in the quarter and 11 first half points. And he's scrapping for the rebound. Richardson lobbing. Jones finishing. Jamming. Jones Jr. does it again. His 3rd electric dunk of the night.
When they're hitting shots, 39% from the 3, 51 from the field.
Oh, what a catch and finish. Alley-oop, reverse style with a foul for Derek Jones Jr.
Knowing where he is at all times.
18 points for Butler. Phillies outscored Miami from the free throw line 20-6. Oh my, did you see that? Derek Jones just hammered it down. Tyler Johnson back to Bam. Flips it inside. Jones Jr. with a left-handed slam dunk. Whiteside still back in the